You know what we didn't do?
But
We, we didn't discuss who was.
well, welcome everyone to another episode of the LPF podcast, where we're going to wing it again. This is week 3. Actually, I like a wing. The wing it is great. You
it
guys see the title,
it feels more
so
natural of a
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, I didn't pull up any of the notes and stuff, but there's pretty much I'll find things for us to talk about. You know what I mean? Because we had a very eventful weekend. As you guys can see, Yendi's right there with us with that big smile again. Looking great, looking dapper. Again, he is again. It's a weekly show, so he did wash that shirt, if you guys were wondering. But, this is episode 69. Yeah, you can go ahead. No nice.
yeah.
Just waiting for the outburst to see what was going to happen. So we made it to 69, which is crazy because that's a lot of episodes. So
Actually, we have a lot. If you count, I mean, I know we don't count debrief, but if you count debrief, we're like, I think we're 100 something.
More than that. I think, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm doing debrief every day, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I'm pretty much am doing a debrief daily. So, we were going to do a debrief on something else, but now we get to just talk about it here. But before we get into any of that, we have our co-host and Chris here with me. Let everyone know how you're doing, Chris.
Oh man, I'm doing all right. I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows still, and that show. Well, if you guys need like dumb humor, it's the show to watch. It makes it literally puts a smile on my face. I smile so hard my mouth hurts, man. It's a good show. This week has been a little crazy, not emotional or anything, but all I can say is from D23 is that we got news about that directly affects me because I work for said company. Nothing bad. It's just a sideways thing. Josh announced that there's gonna be a different thing, a different show at the Lagoon, and they're like, yeah, what he said, and that's it. So I'm like, oh, okay. It was just a huge surprise. We weren't expecting anything like that. So it's been a crazy week of information because we're like, I'll give you guys an insight of, all right. And Disney people are probably freaking out right now. It's not that kind of insight. It's like, as employees, we find out everything the same time the consumer finds out everything. So it's just like, we're literally in the dark. So when we get hyped, it's the same time you guys get hyped. So, so everybody's just like trying to find out like what's going on, what's happening. I was like, I have no idea. Leave me alone. I don't know who you are. It's like, you're lying. You do know. My time at Rock and Roller Coaster, I can't tell you how many times when they put they were repainting the guitar. I can't tell you how many people came up. Is this turning into the Iron Man ride? And I was like, no, man. And they're like, you just can't tell us. I'm like, okay, show up on that day like every other person and watch them reveal the guitar.
But also, like, yeah, if you know that I can't tell you, why are you asking?
Exactly. Like, and they never believe me. Even if I do know, I don't tell you. So like, it's majority of the time it is, I have no idea. Like, and they're like, yeah, whatever. You just can't say anything. Yes. That's like, all right, man. See ya.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, if you're just going to already deny my information by saying you can't say anything, so why are you asking me? Yeah. I want to know why you're asking.
What's up, Michael?
But yeah. So it should be that's good though. That's good news. Yeah. There was a lot of information that came out from D23 and Ubisoft and all that. I've been fantastic. Just been on the grind, work, getting out debriefs, watching a lot of stuff. I've been playing Trek to Yomu. I got back into that, which is a lot of fun. Because it's just a lot of games that I want to play that are about to come out. So it's a good time. We got a lot of news and stuff like that. But before we get into that, let's talk about, do a little bit of housekeeping. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff, guys. If you enjoy the content, comment It helps out the algorithm more than you guys know, even if it's just 1 or 2 likes. It does the if you guys like it, make sure you hit it. The debrief for House of the Dragon came out today. So if you guys are watching that, that is out as we speak. You can check that out after this. And then Chris and I are going to have She-Hulk for you guys later on this week. I'll be doing a Ring of Power episode, and I think I might do the Cyberpunk anime because I feel like it makes sense because, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start watching it. I also wanted to say on Thursday I am off, so I'm gonna be doing. We're gonna do a LPF, another episode of LPF Watch Party. We haven't done one in a while because I haven't been able to make it. Call of Duty will be announcing all their stuff, so come get upset with me or hype with me. It's probably gonna be a mixture of both. We'll see what happens. But the next day we get the beta on PlayStation. So just so you guys know, you can pre-order Call of Duty on PlayStation and cancel your pre-order. So you can pre-order it, get the beta, and then cancel it if you want. So if for our PlayStation fans, if you're not fully committed. So yeah.
So yeah, just we'll have all that stuff for you guys. So be on the lookout. So let's get into what we're going to talk about, which is I don't even know where to start, but I'm just gonna. Which one was first?
I have. Oh, you want to do like show title first?
I don't know. No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so right now I'll let you pick. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs open. We got Nintendo, we got Sony, we got D23 Gaming Showcase, and then D23 Marvel news, which we'll probably save for the end.
The end. So D23 Gaming, I can get into. I know Marvel did some big announcements. This is the first year that they've done this, where they added it to like the game section to D23. They don't normally do it the same way, but this had a few major titles. Some of them don't have names yet. Some of them, are pretty exciting. A Tron game got announced, which is supposed to be like the visual novel of Tron, which, I mean, I love the world of Tron. So that whole announcement, I was like, okay. I will say they also announced probably the game that I'm the most excited about from that was the Black Panther and Captain America game that they announced.
That was in World War II. That was like, I'm thinking like my first initial thought when they announced this was like, it's gonna be a lot of mobile games, blah blah blah, and they did start off with mobile games. And when they showed this, I was like, oh wow, this came out of nowhere. And I loved it. I mean, I saw later on online that people were like, "Hey, there's rumor going around about this game coming out," and yeah.
And the story behind that, if you guys didn't watch D23 though, but this is going to be made by Amy Hennig. She was the creative director of the Uncharted series, and Skydance is who's making this game. But basically, the brief overview that we got of this game is supposed to be. We're in World War II era. It's going to be a completely original story, but we see Captain America, who's obviously going to be Steve Rogers. We see Black Panther, who's not going to be T'Challa because the timeline doesn't make sense.
Alive yet.
Yeah, he's not even born yet. So and then it shows someone from the Howling Commandos. They haven't said who the character is. And then, did they? I think they did. Gabriel Jones. Yeah, Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier who is part of the Howling Commanders. And then a member from the Wakanda Spy Network. Yeah, so all 4 of those characters are going to be playable, which is what they said. Also, they haven't picked a name for the title, but just the idea behind everything that they showed there. And this is why, like, I think this is like the perfect kind of announcement, right? Because you gave us enough to be like, oh, I'm excited that this game is coming out. But also, it's not like the whole game. But like this game is definitely on my radar. What did you think when you saw this title?
When I saw the title, one, I was paying attention to the comics and comments, and people were talking about Black Panther and how they thought it was going to be another Chadwick Boseman thing. And felt bad that they don't know what's going on with this game. So, obviously, I mean, and Disney had to put out a statement saying like, "Hey, it's not King T'Challa in this. Like, he's not Black Panther." They didn't say T'Chaka either, but like, it just kind of leads to So, it was, like I said, it was a big surprise. I was like, it was one of those, the announcement was something that I didn't know I wanted. That's what what the situation was. It showed up and I was like, man, I didn't know I wanted a Captain America game, but it makes sense. We don't have, like, the only superhero game that we really have is Spider-Man. That's big to me. When I was a kid, I mean, I remember there was a Superman game. There was a Hulk game. There was an Iron Man game that came out, and those kind of died off. We did get, I mean, the other superhero games that we got were that Avengers game, which the Rocky start, but I heard the story's great. Guardians of the Galaxy, which I did play, and that one is fun. So, but yeah, I'm very, very excited for what they have in store, and I'm glad they went all out with this.
Yeah, I just think it's really, like you said, something that we weren't expecting. And I think this is what's good about not getting things leaked, right? Because that made the show more impactful, because you're showing us something that we had no idea that we wanted, but also we're doing a unique story here, right? Like, and I think that's important. Just like, it's World War II with superheroes works, okay? Because we don't want normal World War II stuff. But if you're going to give me two characters who were around during that time and like are going out on a mission during that time, and I'm not using like traditional weapons that were in World War II, you're now telling us a new story. Like, you know what I mean? So this is supposed to be a completely original story, which is also exciting because you don't know what's going to happen. And just the overall premise behind it, I think, can really work if they nail this. And I hope it works, because I want more games that circle around original stories, right? Like, you can make any of these characters work. Just give them a story that, we're going to gravitate to. Here you have, 4 characters. I don't know if they're going to make it multiplayer. I want to see what the game style is going to be and stuff like that. But overall, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm down for it, just because the premise behind the game itself is what makes me excited. Like, I think the whole thing is really cool. So I'm all about that. Yeah, and then they announced some other things. They got what you call it? They're partnering with the studio behind Pokemon Go. What's their name? Niantic.
Yeah.
Niantic.
Yes.
Yeah. They're making an AR Marvel game. Midnight Suns comes out in December, which is supposed to be like their XCOM strategy style game. Which, remember that name, by the way, Midnight Suns, because if we go into characters that are being introduced in the MCU, that a lot of the characters are like, they form a group that's called Midnight Suns. And now we're suspiciously getting announcements of all these characters and a game. So for the MCU fans out there, be on the lookout for that. And then they go ahead.
I wanted to say one of the big games that it wasn't big because since you said XCOM, they showed the Aliens Dark Descent game, and I was very surprised to see that on the stream. I was like, oh, is this okay? Like, you know what I mean? When we think Disney, we think like, oh, it's going to be very a lot of kid stuff is going to be during this, except for that. I mean, we have the Marvel universe, and that's obviously, that does get dark. But in this case, the other thing I was excited for was the expansion for the Skywalker Saga, the Lego Skywalker Saga. If you have not played that game, don't think it's just for kids. It is the Lego games are a lot of fun, and this one is really good. I really enjoy it. And then the other one that I was excited for, because me and Bree will probably play it, is Illusion Island, which I love the style. It's a platformer. You're Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy, and it's a platformer game. It's a 4-player game, and it looked cute. It looked like a lot of fun, and something that Bree's gonna enjoy.
Yeah, and it was a pretty solid showing. I mean, obviously, now that they're getting into the game thing, I'm a little surprised we didn't see anything about Wolverine or
Avatar
or Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man,
or Spider-Man. I just think, you have even if again, I overall I just think a lot of these shows are doing it wrong. But I think just and we'll get into that as we go. But I just feel like it's we need more announcements that are like that Captain America game. Like, you know what I mean? Like something that look, like honestly, I don't even know or care when the release date is. I just know that I want to play that game.
Yeah.
But it draws that thing to me because I don't need to see a game and that's I'm with the PlayStation one. I was going to say, you know, I don't need to see a game that I know I'm going to play, but that doesn't mean I wasn't excited for the PlayStation one today. But it's still like, you know what I mean? Like I know I'm going to play some of these games or I'm not going to play some of these games, but like if I already know a game is coming out like Midnight Suns or something like that, like I don't necessarily need you to like constantly show me that. And I know they're doing that for the sense of like, hey, this game is coming out, here's your reminder. But I just feel like they could do these shows better, or you could do something like, you know, something else, you know what I mean? But I do want more of those announcements that are like the Midnight Sun that we got. Not Midnight Sun, the Captain America game.
The before I say this comment too, other surprise game that I forgot to mention that I was like, oh, this kind of looks interesting is the what is it called? The Monstrous Motorsports, which is their Mario Kart but Disney style. That actually looked pretty cool. I was like, oh wow, like the way they had it going looks pretty cool.
They have another game coming out though that's Disney, like that's Disney car game thing. It's called something else. It's like Star something. You can have it on. I played the.
Oh wait! Oh no, maybe it's Speedstorm. Or no, I see Speedstorm. That's what it is. That I'm sorry.
That's what it is. Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing the advertisement is Monstrous Motorsports, but it's called Speedstorm, and that's what I was talking about. That one looked cool. Mm-hmm. In Dreamlight Valley, I've been seeing a lot of people playing lately, and they're enjoying it. So that game, has
that game
blown
just
up.
Had a major resurgence, like major surgeons. It's like on the top 10 of Steam right now.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, I will say, okay, this is my comment to them is the stream itself was so fast. Like they did not give you a chance to soak anything in. It was like, boom, here's the next story. Boom, here's the next story. Boom, here's the next story.
All of them though.
Yeah, I mean, it
is because we just watched literally today. We just watched like it's a little brief talking, and that's my issue though. Like now we're just doing these as like glorified tweets, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're gonna do a reveal show, it has to be more. You have to come with more stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Especially something like D23, right? This is a big event that you want people to start tuning in for and things like that. You can't do what directs and state of plays are doing on that platform. You have to make it a little bit more grand, which is why like you have to do things that are going to make people remember that showcase. And like, that's what I think all of them are doing wrong. I think everyone is hitting those shows and are approaching them completely the wrong way. And I think that's why a lot of people, you get a lot of negative reaction from these shows because like people are just like, yeah, okay. Like, you know what I mean? And it's sad because I feel like you can make these shows become something good. You just have to follow them out with some information that people want and that people are not getting from other sources. So you showing us the trailers, it at a time that used to be enough, but it's not anymore because more people want more information after that. So
yeah, but also shout out to Blessing from Kind of Funny. I thought that was dope that they had him host it.
Yeah.
That was
shout
really
out
cool.
to Blessing always because he is a dope dude. Go follow him on Twitter too. He's really cool. Yeah. So yeah, overall though, I thought it was until
there was no expectation. I will say there was no expectation for the show. So I enjoyed it. It was very fast. I think it was only 20 minutes. And we got what we needed from it. So, I mean,
it hit the major points. I just think if you're going to advertise it for D23, it just should be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like it should be a little bit more. You should have a little bit more information and make it like a whole day event. Like even if you're showing, like my thing is they're going for quantity over quality. I think if you would have showed like 2 titles and like extensive information on both of those, people would have received it better than you trying to show us 6 trailers. And I just think that's how it is for all of these personally. But yeah, from one thing to another, we have the Nintendo one, which was today, which I did watch. It was advertised as 40 minutes. And, going into these Nintendo ones, I hold my expectations down.
We gave up a long time ago.
So like I'm watching these more for like, yes, I want to know the information. So like I watch them, but not with the intent of like I'm going to be surprised by something. But there was something I was surprised by, but it had nothing to do with Nintendo, which we'll get into. But Nintendo shared their showcase, and there's things that like again got announced that I necessarily didn't need, like Bayonetta 3, which obviously I'm gonna play. But the funny thing about it is they showed Bayonetta 3, and then instead of talking about it, they directed us to the YouTube. They said, if you want to know more information about Bayonetta 3,
that was a lot of stuff. That was a lot of stuff of like, there's a deeper dive on this. There's a video about this. I'm like, what's
direct? Why isn't it in the direct? That's my point, though. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it should have been in the direct. That's what the direct is for. It's not like, just showcase these highlights of games. Like, I want to know what I'm going to be doing in Bayonetta. Like, give me that deeper dive on this. I get you're trying to direct us to your YouTube, whatever. We're already on your YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? So I think they should have, taken that time and put that. They announced Resident Evil. I know they announced Fatal Frame, which I love Fatal Frame. But that's a game that was already released overseas. It Takes Two is coming to the Switch. Great game. Then one of the surprising announcements, it wasn't really a surprise, but you kind of knew it was good to see though. They started talking about Pikmin Bloom, and then they announced that Pikmin 4 is in the works, which is I know a lot of people were wondering about that because they hadn't talked about it for a while.
Yeah, I gotta say that I am convinced that Nintendo has somebody putting out fake leaks for people to follow, because leading up leading up to this Nintendo Direct, one, nobody ever knows when they're going to be announced. They announce it and then it's like the next day, and it sucks because nobody can schedule out anything, right? I'm just tired of, as soon as I see the rumor of anything Nintendo, I don't believe it anymore. I'm like, yeah, it's not true. Because this whole time, people were so focused on an HD version of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. That was the big rumor. And there was some very credible sources that were like, yeah, this is happening. And I feel like whenever people start talking about it too much, Nintendo switches up everything. Because one, I did not expect to hear anything about Pikmin 4 or Legend of Zelda, which we'll get to in a second. Which is unfortunate. So at this point, I want to tell people to shut up about Nintendo rumors, because every time you guys say something, I feel like we're just pushing. I said this last podcast. I feel like we're just pushing everything back because they're like, oh, they already guessed it, so we're not gonna do that because it's not a surprise anymore. So stop it, so we can get these games.
They definitely took a non-leak approach, which is a good one. I mean, that will start to hinder people from believing leaks, right? Yeah. Because if I do that and, people are like, oh, these are all a lie, these are not true, then people are going to stop like relying on that source and then just waiting for Nintendo to say it. So I think it's a good idea. But Pikmin being announced was good for the Pikmin fans. Like I love Pikmin. I like the idea, but I don't know if I will play it. We'll see. But I know a lot of people enjoy that, and we're happy about that. Then they showed some more, some Fire Emblem stuff. Then they showed the 64, the new games that were being added to 64, which were some great titles, which I want to be excited for. I do. The problem is
the paywall behind it?
No, there's not a paywall. I mean,
you have to buy the.
Yeah, I just don't think, like, some of those games I already own. Okay, like I mean, majority of those games I already own. I do think it's cool that you can play it on your Switch, making it more accessible.
It's going to be online play too. That's the thing that got me was the GoldenEye online. I mean, it's going to be very weird to play that game, but
and this is where my surprise came in. So when GoldenEye got announced, we knew at some point that was going to happen. I don't know why I then forgot that Rare is owned by Microsoft.
Yeah, and for a while those rumors were going around that they were working on I thought they were working on a new one. But but apparently
the whole rights. So there was a whole story, and you can watch a YouTube video on it about how Xbox is with the Rare rights to that. So they finally got that worked out. And I didn't know that at the time until I went to Twitter. And that's when I got surprised, because I was like, that is such a big win on Xbox's end to have Rare and to finally get that, because like you just said, is the Switch is not going to be the best thing to play this on.
Nope.
Like, you know what I mean? Because you're not going to get the full restoration that you're going to get on Microsoft.
You will get the old style. So the way I look at it is, if you've played the Halo Master Chief Collection. So if you play the story and you hit the back button, you can see what the graphics used to look like, and then you see what the new graphics are. So in my opinion, this Xbox One is going to be the newer graphics. Like, hey, this looks really clean. But if you are used to the old style, which there are people that this game is very nostalgic for them, they can go back and play that and they'll be like, this is what I remember. This is it.
Yeah. So the important thing, though, is that Nintendo is the only place you can play it online, though. You can't play it online on Xbox.
Oh, really?
No. Because the thing is, you're going to get the 4K visuals, the smoother frame rate, and you can get local multiplayer. They did not announce online multiplayer. It says Nintendo's console will be the only place where you can play the game online with other players.
Ooh, well, I mean, I think later on maybe later on they'll try it, but Nintendo's like, listen, like this is our draw in, so this is.
Well, that's the thing, though. Yeah. It's the only way to get people to play it for the Switch, because you have to force people to play it, and I think this was their way of being like, look, you have to do it this way. Because easily Microsoft can be like, Luke, flip the Switch, and then you can play online. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. But I think at least for maybe the first year and a half, 2 years, I do think you'll only be able to play it on the Switch, and then later on Microsoft will lock it out. And then, which was a great announcement, I think, for both, because people have been dying for GoldenEye. I just want to play the story. I just want to play the story mode, honestly. I don't really care for multiplayer, because it's not going to age well like people think it is. It doesn't age well.
It was bad then. I knew it was bad then. It was just funny to like.
It was great.
It was funny to like. Well, I mean, I was a kid, so the game was hard. Like trying to move the analog and everything. Yeah. So a lot of the times it was me and my friends just jumping with the golden guy. We're like, trying to get in.
People are going to be like, which is why I think it's interesting that, and then playing it on the Switch is going to be annoying. I think the 4K, though, that the whole like smoother frame rates and stuff like that for Xbox, playing that single player, I think that's going to be where the joy is, for me at least. I don't really have a desire to play it online, and then playing it on Game Pass where I don't have to pay for it. I mean, overall, that's a great thing.
I mean, I'm on the family plan with a couple friends, so
there you go.
If you do have Nintendo and everything like that, and you pay for Switch Online, get a couple friends and divvy up the money and do the big family plan. It's worth it. I was more excited. I'm glad GoldenEye's coming. I want to play that story. But a game that I still play to this day with some friends and stuff like that is Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. Mostly 2. We play the mini games. Always loved them. They still hold up. So I'm excited to see those come to Switch. I don't think I ever played the original Pokemon Stadium, the first one. So I'll definitely be jumping into that.
And I'm like I said, I feel like Nintendo should have been doing this. This is not something that should be advertised as thanks for doing this. Like,
no, it should be a long time ago.
You know what I mean? But also the excitement for some of these games that are coming out, and just for obviously GoldenEye, there's legal issues there, But like a game like Pokemon Stadium,
Yeah.
we've gone so long without a Pokemon Stadium game. Like, what made you like? What makes Nintendo think that making a new Pokemon Stadium wouldn't be a good idea? And that's the thing that's always my issue with Nintendo, because like, what's the holdup? Why not make another Pokemon Stadium? Why not make another Metroid game? Like, why does these games take, like, like, what's the issue? And again, there could be issues that we don't know about or we'll ever know about. I just want to know what's the holdup.
Yeah.
So overall, those games were great to get announced, like I said. And then we had the grand finale of the new Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, being announced, which is going to be the sequel of Breath of the Wild. And we talked about this. Yendi talked about this
Which
in our
I don't.
chat too.
I don't agree
What
with.
I don't agree with him. And I mean, listen. Also, what I was saying in there was factual. Okay, because if you look at it, Ocarina of Twilight Princess sold more than Ocarina of Time, and Ocarina of Time, like, you didn't need to make it Ocarina of Time 2. They made it Twilight Princess, and it still sold more than Ocarina of Time. And then Breath of the Wild just sold more than Twilight Princess. So it doesn't matter what the title is, as long as it says The Legend of Zelda.
People are going to buy.
People are going to know it.
It doesn't need to
and
be
then
the same.
You also have to remember, with Nintendo, there's a particular fan base, right? The fan base knows the games that they're going to get, right? So traditionally, if you're going to be playing, if you bought Breath of the Wild, there's no way you're not going to know that this is going to be a direct thing, because you're already that much of a Zelda fan, you know what I mean? And then it's going to be a sequel. So a lot of people who are going to the store, they're not going to go, oh, Breath of the Wild 2, and then go like, and they're going to be like, is there a new Zelda game? And then they're going to buy the Zelda game because it's a Zelda game. And that's how I feel about that. And I mean, the numbers themselves will show that too. I don't think you need to call it Breath of the Wild 2. I actually like changing the name to what it is, Tears of the Kingdom, because it just feels a little bit different. Right,
Tears of the Kingdom sounds badass to me. That sounds like a dope name. I like that more than Breath of the Wild. To be honest.
I don't, and you don't need Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, I think, is a good one. I think obviously it's going to sell crazy because people already know what this is going to be. So the trailer for it itself looked fantastic. Just for me, like, obviously, like, getting back into that world is going to be fantastic and all that stuff. Like I said, the only problem I had with the Nintendo showcase is that I waited 40 minutes for that.
Like,
and that's not a problem. I'm just saying the fact that we had to wait 40 minutes to get to what we really wanted to see. Yes, the GoldenEye announcement was great. But again, I played those games 20 years ago, right? So like, it's not that big of a deal for me. But playing the next installment to Zelda, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to play.
Like I said, I didn't think we were going to get a trailer. That trailer looked beautiful. I am so excited. Breath of the Wild is fantastic. I love that game. I know people are like, it's like there's not a lot there. I love that game so much. Maybe, right? And now that I'm going to put this out there, it's not going to happen. Comes out May 12th. All right. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get, I think Legend of Zelda is going to get its own direct because it's one of their major games. It's going to have its own direct. Maybe that's when we'll get, another Zelda announcement, an HD announcement or whatever. But I feel like that'll happen. They'll give us something in between to kind of nibble at in the time being. So that's my opinion on that. But Tears of the Kingdom, like I said, fantastic name. I will probably be stuck between that and Starfield. So I'm I know 100% I'm going to be stuck on this. Starfield, I'm not going to say anything yet until it comes out. That's probably the smart move for that. So I think they did a great job. I can't believe that they really decided to show that trailer, and I didn't think there was going to be a trailer. I thought we were going to get another, hey, we're working on it. Here's another small bite of something.
Again, those games they've been working. Those something like I said, those trailers like that's important to people, and I think you have to have those prepared. And like I said, people are happy that there's a date behind it, and they kind of know when to expect it. And even though it's not like within the upcoming months or in December, like they said they were.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like this is what people want to see. Okay, you've been working on the game. You have enough to show us a trailer. You delayed it, that's fine. But guess what? I saw the game. I have something to be hyped for. And I think that's what they need to start doing, which this was a good reveal. Like at the end, you have something and you're leaving everyone to leave on a note where, oh, this is gonna be one of our biggest games. Here you go. So I think that alone was fantastic. I think it definitely saved the show for me. But again, waiting 40 for the 37 minutes of filler, I didn't need most of that. All of that other stuff to me could have been said in a tweet or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Or just like a solo YouTube video, not like a direct. I just want more from these directs for me. I want like information on games. I don't want the showcase of highlights. Like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like instead of doing it that way, you should just drop them on your channels or drop them on your Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, here's this new game, drop it. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're not going to get that much backlash from that. And I think people would prefer the information being told that way opposed to being told another way, you know? What's up, buddy?
Black Magic said, listen, man, I'm here for one reason. Alan's God of War reaction.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what Nintendo did for him. They made him wait 40 minutes for
well, they made me wait a little bit less with the God of War.
Oh yeah, God of War.
Yeah, for that trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I did not think whenever I heard 20 minutes, I was like, "There's no way this is gonna be like."
I knew they were going to show it, but now that we're talking about PlayStation, we might as well go there. So PlayStation had their direct today, and it was kind of fun because they had a little banter with Nintendo's Twitter. Just saying, oh, you guys got big plans. Like I think they
knew. I think they knew Breath of the Wild was, or sorry, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna have to get used to saying that.
Yeah.
I think they knew that was dropping because that comment with the big eyes of like big day tomorrow. Yeah. I was like, oh.
But I think it's because they also just planned it on the same day, and then the social media team was doing a good job at like, don't show like again the console wars is all bullshit. Like, just play what you want to play, enjoy what you want, and you don't have to like be fighting or be a fanboy of one. So I think it's nice for them to display that kind of interaction, even if it's on social media. So I thought that was cool. But we got that we got their state of play today, and they said early that it was going to be 20 minutes. They said that a lot of the stuff because there is Tokyo Game Show, which they're going to be releasing some of the things like that.
Is that something that's always happened that I'm just now hearing about?
Yeah, Tokyo Game Show always.
Is it just an appreciation thing, or we're getting a deep dive on these guys of like how they make these games, or are there actually are they doing it's like Tokyo's E3 like showcase?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. Okay, all right. This is the first time. Maybe I heard about it in the past, but I never knew that show was a thing. So I whenever I heard about it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to try to.
Yeah, I don't think they've done it in the last 2 years because of their COVID restrictions. Because
they just started opening up.
Yeah, all those things. So. So Sony let us know in a blog what kind of like expectations, time frame, and stuff like that. They started off, they had a Hogwarts Legacy, which is going to have a PlayStation exclusive quest. That's what they were showing off there. Which the release date for that is February 10th. They dropped a couple of their VR games that they're going to be dropping. Which the Star Wars one and a fantasy board game.
Yeah, the Star Wars one, I mean, it's Galaxy's Edge, but they ramped it up for the PlayStation the PlayStation VR 2 specs. So it's just a very it's supposed to look very clean in that one. That's all it is. So everybody's playing, and it was an Oculus exclusive. So hopefully since they got an Oculus exclusive, maybe at some point we'll get some of those PlayStation VR games to us, because there's some great games. I mean, we got Batman, but there's some great games on the PlayStation VR store that didn't get enough love. And So, and also Black Magic said the last Ronin looks great.
Yeah, so that's where my excitement for this show started to begin, was when even the game before that, which was Stella, I forgot what it was called. It used to be called Project Eve, but it kind of reminds me of a Bayonetta kind of Demon Souls like game, which I am all about. And then Rise of the Ronin, which there was a few games that I was like, okay, I'm excited for this. They Like a Dragon, Ishin, which is a samurai game, and it's made from the makers of Yakuza, which was never released here. So
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So this is going to be a remake of that game that was only available in Japan, and it came out for PS3 and PS4, and was only available there. So now this is a remake of that game for the PS5, which I'm excited about, because this was a game, as a Yakuza fan, I knew about this game, but I just couldn't play it because it was only available there. I mean, I could have played it if I would have went through all those channels,
jumps, and
wasn't worried about
hoops,
that.
Yeah.
But now we're getting that game. Looks like a ton of fun, especially if you like the Yakuza games. It's kind of like the same style, and you know me, I love samurai stuff, even though you can question me on that because I still haven't played Ghost of Tsushima.
Which I thought the last Ronin was. Whenever I saw it, I was like, this is another Ghost of Tsushima game. I was waiting to see Ghost of something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
So yeah, you can shame me on that. I will deserve that. Yeah, so that game looked like a lot of fun. They also showed Rise of the Ronin, which is a Team Ninja game, and it's an action RPG game set in Japan, which I thought was hilarious because this is what I feel like Assassin's Creed's Japan game is going to try to be. And I thought the announcements of them both were kind of funny because this game really has Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed vibes, especially when you saw him standing on like the buildings and stuff like that. This game is not it is exclusive to PS5, and it's supposed to come out in 2024. So we got plenty of time before. So to show us a trailer of a game coming out almost 2 years from now, I thought was a really good look, because it shows us that this game is in a good state for you to show us the game. Okay, and everyone say hi to Cora.
Yeah, hello.
Cora.
What are you doing?
Bupper. Oh,
causing trouble.
Yeah. So just the game itself, I was like, okay, I'm here for that. And then also to start the show off, they showed Tekken 8, which, my gosh, if that was fighting, if that was the way that the fighting looks, because they look like they went straight from cinematic into gameplay. And if that was gameplay, that's the best fighting game I've ever seen in my life. Because the way that looked, it looked so real, and that battle was amazing. If you haven't watched that beginning, listen, as a Tekken, there's Tekken stories I have for days. But man, that looked really good. It won't be an exclusive because Tekken's not exclusive to anyone. So but showing that to start the show off was a good touch on their part. And then
the chain, in my opinion, was a little cheesy.
Listen, don't worry about
the chain breaking up, and it'll be like, it's Tekken 8. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was cool. Okay. Also, check out the Tekken anime if you haven't, which is really good on Netflix. Bloodline, really good. Yeah, but then we got all there. Then we got to the granddaddy, the thing that I really didn't even need to see. And this is where you can question me on that, what I said earlier. I don't want to see games that I know I'm gonna play. Yeah, I lied, because this game just shows a special place in my heart. They showed the controller first, which I was already in the market for a new controller. I'm getting that controller because it's God of War. And then man, listen, if freaking Santa Monica Studios, boy, do they know how to cut a trailer, because that trailer was fantastic. And I just know the game's going to be fantastic. It's one of those games where I literally carefree know that I'm going to buy this game for $70, and it's 100% going to be worth every penny that I paid for it, even if I played it one time.
Bro, that's oh, hold on. If the scalpers don't get it first, they won't. Oh, you mean the controller? No. The controller. Okay.
They're not getting it before me. You'll see. Trust me. I'm going to get it. But yeah, it's just, man, the trailer itself was just fantastic. Just it got me pumped for getting back into that world. And then Kratos saying the line that, death, death has to earn me. Like, what? Who says that? Like, he's just this dude, like, man, look, there's no, I'm just, Kratos is one of the best characters ever made. Like, period. For just to be like, yo, death has to earn me. Like, this man is saying, like, even if he dies, like, it's up to him if he wants to die, like, actually die. Like, and then just the whole thing with
you gonna
Atreus,
die, all right? You gonna work for it. That's great.
Yeah, you're gonna have to earn my respect for me to die. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just that whole story with Atreus and everything that's about to go on, man. It just got me pumped. And I'm counting the days down, and every time I look at it, it's just a little bit closer, and it's almost here, and I'm just more excited. So,
did you get the collector's edition? Or
hell yeah, I got the collector's edition. Listen, there's few games that I will go out on like God of War. Like I said, the God of War that we recently played is probably the best game I've ever played. Like, just story wise, the gameplay, everything. Like, it's not my favorite game, but I think it's genuinely the best game I've ever played. Like, just from beginning to end, story wise, just everything like that. Like, genuinely,
obviously you never played Parappa the Rapper, but okay.
I did play Parappa the Rapper, which is a great game, but it's not in my top 5. I'm sorry, but it's just that world, that story. I'm here for all of it, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. Because and honestly, now that I think about it, I am going to take the day off of work so I can just beat it that day, because it just
that day?
I know I'm going to play. Yes, 8 hours. It's gonna. Look, the game's going to be what, 10 to 12 tops. I mean, part 1 was not even part 1, but this last one was 15 hours, I think. It was if you're going for story only, it's
I feel like that world's gonna be way too big to do that.
Let's check. Hold on. God of War.
While he checks, I will say I did like seeing for the trailer. We kind of saw roles reversed from the first one. So Atreus, from what I can tell, what we can tell, Atreus got told something. That there's going to be a moment where somebody tells him something. Also, Black Magic said Parappa the Rapper is the top 2, and it's not number 2. But he was told something, and just like Kratos in the first game. In the first game, we saw a lot of Atreus saying, like, "Why are we doing this? Talk to me. Like, what's going on?" And Kratos is like, "You will see. You need to learn how to be patient." And in this one, you see we got a small clip of Kratos at his breaking point of like, "Tell me what's going on." And he's like, "You just need to trust me." He's like, "I've been following you and everything. I've done everything you told me, and you're not telling me what's going on. I need to know." And that was a very strong in that trait. Just the small few seconds was very strong. So it's gonna be a good emotional roller coaster. My favorite part of that trailer is when Atreus shoots the bow and the sky rips and you see it spread open. I was like, "Oh my god, this game!"
Okay, so it says how long to beat.com it takes 20 hours, which is a day. That's one day. I'll probably take like a Monday off so that I can play it on, like, what day does it come out? When it comes out, it's the 9th. But when it comes out, I'll just take the day next to it off because I'll just play it throughout the whole day. And then it's probably going to lead up to a weekend, and then I'm good to go. So 20
you said it comes
hours,
out the 9th?
The 9th, yeah.
You sure?
That's when the controller comes out.
I'm seeing, which is set to launch alongside the game on November 11th.
I see November 9th here. It says, according to The Verge, it says the controller and the game itself will be released soon. Both will be available on November 9th.
Mine is Game Radar. Because the 9th is a Wednesday and the 11th is a Friday. Friday makes sense, but at this point, games don't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter anymore. And also, Black Magic said, Alan, did I see the 2 wolves?
What?
Oh, wait, Alan, did you see the 2 wolves?
The 2 wolves where? In the game?
I guess so. I mean, they're on the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw everything. I'm listen. I'm ready for that game. I'm like I said, I'm gonna beat it as soon as I play it. I'm not stopping because the story is just so Like, I want to be in that story. Like, I just love that story, and I want to know what happens next. And I just feel like if I could just play it straight through, beat it quickly, and I'm here for it. So, and apparently this is the last. This is like the last of this saga because they're not making a trilogy. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for all that. I'm ready for it. Give me the game right now, actually, because I know it's done. Like I've said, like I know it's done, but they out here making me wait till November. I'll wait.
It is November 9th, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'll wait. But yeah, I want it right now, but I'll wait because I trust them. I know they're gonna give me what I want. So
crazy that after all these delays that we got this year, and God of War, the biggest, is the one to make it out.
I mean, it got delayed.
It got delayed, but I'm saying like everything got out. Everything got delayed till next year. And the fact that this one stuck around, I mean, then again, this feels like it just confirms that, like, what's coming out in November? God of War. We're moving everything back. Like, clear the way. Just clear the way. Get out of the way.
But also, why even compete? Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Point, which is why I thought it wasn't going to come out, because they gave me every reason to believe it shouldn't. Because you had Horizon come out, which I think you could be up there for Game of the Year. So I know obviously Elden Ring's going to be in there, and then you're going to have. So I didn't think Sony was going to want to compete with itself. Now, I don't know if this makes the time frame of Game of the Year or if it follows for the next year. Well, that'll be up to the game people, because I think there's a cutoff date.
I think November is the cutoff.
Yeah, it's November something though. And I don't know if God of War is going to make it or not. Either way, Sony, I think, purposely had this November launch, obviously because you have the controller, which is another, thing that people are going to buy. You want to get a nice Q4 thing. And then obviously, like I said, guys, if you don't have a PS5, I can guarantee you in these next 2 months, it's going to be next 3 months, they're going to be magically a lot easier to find.
Sorry, Japan.
Or be able to access. You know what I mean? So,
shout out to Japan. I'll be pouring one out for you because that 20% hit.
Yeah, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. But yeah, so I'm excited. I thought that was a better showcase only because the length. Honestly, I think the length and what they showed, they did definitely add more games that I wanted to play. But it's only because, like I said, the length of it being 20 minutes opposed to, like, they showed, like I was saying earlier in the chat, basically like they showed 4 titles that I want to play in 20 minutes opposed to 1 title that I want to play in 40 minutes. So, like the other games that they showed in the Nintendo one, like, you know what I mean? I'd be okay if I didn't play it. The only game I won't be okay with not playing is Zelda. So, yeah. So overall, I thought it was fine.
Just to give some insight, right? Think about it. So, God of War comes out on the 9th, right? And if things if things were just to go as planned, and God of War just got delayed, then we'd get God of War on the 9th, and in that same week, we would get Starfield, and that would be nuts.
I honestly, like I said, I am always been a fan of delaying games when they need to be delayed. Starfield doesn't bother me with their delay, because if you need to work on your game, go work on your game, or else things are going to end up like Halo, and I just don't think that's worth it. Like, I don't care what the investors say, or like, it's just not worth it, because we know how people feel about getting shunned on a game when they originally come out. We've seen it all the time.
It's like people don't learn from Cyberpunk.
Like, we see what happened.
We saw what happened to Cyberpunk.
But it happened to everything before that too. It's not just, it was Cyberpunk. It was No Man's Sky. It was like, there's a bunch of games that came out. Anthem, Destiny. Like, there's a long list of games that came out that weren't where they were supposed to be when they originally came out, and then like obviously fixed themselves because like I said, Cyberpunk to me is a way better game than it was obviously during release. But like, is it worth? It would have been worth just working on it, fixing it there, and then releasing it now. Because yeah, people are going to be like, oh, I'm upset that the game didn't come out. But you're also going to retain those people so that you can release more content that they're going to want to play. So now you're just doing an uphill battle that you may not win. And then you had this long game that you worked on that not enough people are going to get to play because they've shunned it. You know what I mean? And fair enough, because there's some people who, hey, it only takes one. Like, I don't have time to go back to the game that I wanted to play, and then you hurt me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, that's how it is sometimes. So especially if you're charging. So yeah, I think delaying games shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing. If those companies need to work on the game, let them work on that game. It's going to be a better product by the time it comes out, and it's going to be way better than you being upset that the game didn't work when it first came out. So yeah, and that was Sony's thing. And then, which was pretty, I thought Sony did a good job. Like I said, time was nice. Again, I just still have just a formatting issue with how they do it, but it is what it is. I got God of War to see, so Sony knew, oh, we can make him upset if we just show him God of War. Show him God of War at the end, he won't complain as much. And they're right. They're right.
Sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. You can finish your thought. Are you done with this section?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so I'm not saying the show's done. I'm just saying the gaming portion of the show is done for right now. Unless Alan, you look like you had something to say.
Oh no.
You're just looking at stuff. Okay. So we're gonna be talking about D23 Marvel news. So if you were just here for the gaming news, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe, comment, share with a friend. If you share with a friend, it helps us spread the show, and we can get more of you guys on here, and we can build a community that of last placers. Okay, last place is the new first place. You feel me? Get out there. If you want to talk about Marvel, though, stick around. We were going to do a debrief on it, but since this guy over here, all the way at the end of the line, because I'm all the way at the end of the line, but Yendi over there is not here, we're going to be able to talk about Marvel, so that's what we're going to do now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to just talk about the whole Disney
D23 announcements
in general.
Yeah.
Because I've got things. Okay. So the first day of this was basically all of the Disney stuff, right? Like that got announced, like Walt Disney Studio stuff. And I'm having a problem. Okay. And here's my problem with Disney. We're not getting enough. These live actions remakes, I don't want them anymore. Okay. We've had enough of a chance to make these, and I don't want them. I do want a Little Mermaid just because everyone else is upset, because obviously, but I yes. And then obviously, if you know me, you know that I want the Little Mermaid, because I just feel like people just need to the outrage, the people for people to be upset about that, I just don't understand. Like legit, there are people who are upset.
They don't understand, man. I made the mistake of checking the comments.
Oh,
and the very I stopped after the first one. The first one was, what if Pocahontas was white? And I was like, all right, I'm good.
I don't think people just understand, okay? Like, please, and this is going to go for TV shows in general, okay? In a fantasy-based television show, movie, media, or whatever, okay? Fantasy-based means it is not real. Mermaids are not real, meaning mermaids can be any color they want to be, including elves. Elves can be black for all the people who are upset about Ring of Power. Like, you know what I mean? It's just something that can happen. There's nothing in the fantasy world that says they can't. And if you're a true Tolkien fan, you would know that he wrote, especially about the Harfoots, because again, I'm not going to get too much into Lord of the Rings because that can take hours. He literally says that the Harfoots were darker images than the Hobbits. Okay, so stop. And then, what'd you call it? House of the Dragon. Just like everyone just gets upset, and then you really want to see what the common factor is, and it's always the same thing. That there's people out there who feel like these characters can only look a certain way, and that's crazy to me, especially in a fantasy setting. Pocahontas was based off of what a true story should have been. Like, you know what I mean? What they were implying on their true story. So they're showing you, like Pocahontas, that story, she has to be a Native American. Like, that's the point of the story. Like, you know, like, what? Like, the fact that people can't comprehend that, to me, it makes no sense. Like, anyway, they did announce Hocus Pocus 2, which I'm really excited about.
I think we all are, yeah.
But that's just because those characters I love. Disenchanted also got announced, which I'm cool with because that's a sequel. Okay. Then we're getting a Peter Pan and Wendy. Okay. Which is supposed to be
those Peter Pan movies. I will give them that the Peter Pan movies I have enjoyed. What was the one with it was about Captain Hook and Johnny Depp's in it.
Talking about Hook?
No, because Hook is Robin Williams. No.
Yeah. I don't. Which one are you talking about?
It's one like there was like it's literally a young Captain Hook, and he's like in the mines and everything like that. And there's a scene that everybody in the mines singing. It's some rock song, and Johnny Depp walks up. I'll have to find it, but those stand. I'll give them that those movies are good. Anyway,
okay, yeah. So for me, I'm just not a fan anymore of the live actions, and I think it's because they had enough time to try to win me over with their information, like with that stuff, and it's just not there for me. Like, so I don't know how excited I am for them, because obviously, you know, everyone knows I'm gonna go watch it. Like, it's not. There's no way I'm not gonna go watch it. Which Disney also knows that, and that's the problem, because Disney knows I'm gonna go watch it, and then they're just like, "Here's this information. Like, you know, you're gonna go see it, so stop acting like you're not." And then I end up going see it. So it is my fault, partially. You know, and I understand that, but I don't know how I feel about that. I will say one thing I was really excited for was the Percy Jackson TV show that's coming out, because I feel like that's a show or series that can be remade, especially now with the time that we have, right? The technology that we have, it's going to look far better than what that movie was, right? So I think things like that should be brought to light. Like, I think there's some Disney movies and stuff that I feel like I don't want a Mufasa prequel. Like, how do you like? I don't.
Yeah,
feel
Black
like
Magic. Black Magic put Mufasa in here. So I know so everybody knows that the reason why they're doing live action, right, is to renew, the rights to have those things, because if not, we saw exactly what happened. We're getting that Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yes, I'm so excited for that.
But I'm saying, like, that's it. If anything, that was Disney's like, well, dang it. So, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, things like that happen all the time, right? Because, like, even some of those open domain stuff, like, because there's a lot of open domain stuff that they like, for instance, the Pinocchio movie that just came out. There's another Pinocchio movie that's coming out later on this year, which is the one that I'm actually excited for, because the new Pinocchio is the one that's going to have it's a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Oh, and that movie is going to be all sorts of crazy.
And I think that's why that's going to work better, because that's a little bit more true to what the Pinocchio story is, because Pinocchio's story is supposed to tell kids, hey, don't lie. Like,
is it Pinocchio's anniversary or something? Because I feel like Pinocchio is shown, like, we're getting what's the game? The Souls game. that's going to be coming out. There's a Pinocchio Souls game that's coming out.
No,
that you play as Pinocchio. Life of P? Something like that. But also that Peter Pan movie, it's called Finding Neverland. Kind of upset because it came out in 2004 and I totally thought that was like a 2013 movie.
Okay. Well, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, so I think there's some truth. I think Disney wants to make sure that they have their name, but there's a lot of these things that people just don't make these movies so that because Disney already has the crowd for. Because there was a Little Mermaid movie that came out, what'd you call it? Like last 2 years ago or something like that. And I forgot who was in it, but like there's things that they don't own. There was a Jungle Book, so there's movies that come out. It's just people usually don't want to compete with what Disney has already established. You know what I mean? Which is why I think the Winnie the Pooh movie is going to be it's going to be so bad that it's going to be great. And as a fan of horror, I just can't wait because I need to see that movie. I need to see it so I can laugh. But and that was pretty much what they announced as far as any of the live action stuff. They had some animated stuff, which was a lot of things to be excited for. As always, like everyone wants to see more animated stuff. They're doing that Zootopia Plus, which pretty much has 6 new stories, which comes out November 9th.
Lies of P is the name of the game. Sorry, Black Magic put it in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah. So they had that. So I'm just like, they had Pixar's getting Inside Out 2, which I loved Inside Out 1. So big fan of that. But yeah, I wanted more of the sequels and stuff like that. It was cool to see Harrison Ford get emotional about the Indiana Jones being
Was there video
announced.
of that? I just read about it. Like from what I saw, like nobody knew
what,
or like nobody had a video of him getting emotional, and I was like,
yeah, because a lot of those things you can't record. So there's probably someone who has it out there, but you have to find it before Disney takes it down, or it has to be posted by a news outlet because they won't let you see it. And then so that was pretty much it. Then we got the Star Wars stuff, which this is when business started to pick up right here, because we're going to get a bunch of shows. You know what I mean? We have the Tales of the Jedi, which is a 6 original CGI shorts about Ahsoka and Dooku. So that's going to be exciting. Mace Windu actually shows up in that one too. It's good. Listen.
Also, they dropped. I don't know if it came from D23, but it came out later that night that they announced who's playing Ezra. Yep, and I was I kind of wanted that one to be a hidden thing of he just shows up.
Well, I knew
it was gonna happen. Also, a quick thing to go back on because I got to clean up the mess I just made with Peter Pan. The movie I was originally talking about is called Pan. Came out in 2015. The guy who I thought was Johnny Depp is actually played by Hugh Jackman. He plays the big pirate that walks on the ship. If you have not seen that movie, just go and watch the scene.
All of that up.
I know. Just go watch the scene of Hugh Jackman walking up on the boat, and it's just cool. Like you hear the crowd chanting, and they're singing, and he comes up on the ship and he's singing, and it's a dope moment. It was a hidden movie that I feel like not a lot of people watch, because I remember going to see it opening weekend with Bree, and it was like us and somebody else in that theater. No, it's on Netflix. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. So we got Bad Batch Season 2. We finally got a date to that, which is
I heard they got renewed for Season 3 already too.
I'm sure they did, because that show was fantastic. I mean, that show was great, and anything that Dave Filoni touches is gold. I mean, period. That's just what it is. But it was nice to get a release date, January 4th. And it's nice that they're finally getting to the point where we should be getting something every month. Just as far as TV, movies, especially for Disney Plus. I think that was really important to get that. Then We find out that Jude Law is going to be part of the Skeleton Crew, a story about a group of younglings lost in space, which let me get that. And then we got the Ahsoka news, which is supposed to be coming out in 2023. Like Chris was saying, watch Rebels and watch those. We got the Andor final trailer, which comes out at the end of the month. Then we got the Mando trailer, which comes out.
I didn't watch.
They didn't give us a date.
I think I stayed away from the Star Wars trailers for the most part. I'm probably gonna end up watching the Mando trailer. Which also they're putting Mando in Galaxy's Edge, which is gonna be cool. I thought that was really yeah. I thought it was gonna be really dope.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
but that was pretty much the Star Wars stuff. And then we get to the Marvel, which if you guys listen to the show, how much we talk about Marvel. So
we hate them.
We can't stand them. I'm kidding. Marvel, I love you. MCU, I love you.
Although I'm gonna say this. Okay, they're bringing the Hulk to Avengers Campus. Okay, shout out to the Hulk because that suit looks super hard to work in. But also the way he came in on stage, it cracked me up. So I was just like, Go ahead.
You do know they did show at the D23. They did show Rogers the musical. They did a performance.
I know they opened it. Yeah. They opened it that way, and I was like, I was so mad. I have a couple friends that went to D23, and actually one of them ended up on the stream whenever they showed Figment and stuff. I thought it was dope. But yeah, whenever I read the news, I was like, bro, that's the one thing I want to see live.
Yeah. They gotta do it, man. They have to do a small tour. Like even if it's a small theater, if they're worried about people, because I genuinely think they could sell that out. Like they could sell out theaters with that.
It was all the same people from the show too, right? That originally did it. Yeah, it was the same guys.
Just do one tour, just to try it out, or do a couple of dates and see if you can sell it out and before you decide to go on tour, because I'd go watch it 1000%. But so they opened the show. Then we started getting some heavy hitting news, which I will say I'm a little surprised at some news we didn't get, and I don't think I was surprised by any of the news that we got, but I was more surprised about the news we didn't get, which is fine with me. But we got the Daredevil show being announced, no trailer yet, 18 episodes though.
That is called Daredevil Born Again.
Again, which is a storyline on the comic books. Go check it out. But 18 episodes, which is insane, because I'm wondering if they're going to split it 9 and 9. I doubt it, but if we get 18 straight episodes,
all at once, please.
No, I don't want it all at once.
I do,
because making it all at once and then debriefing it is a disaster.
True,
I hate doing full seasons of debriefs. Because it just, you forget, but also you forget like when key things happen. And I'm also just a fan of shows coming out weekly, because we get to talk about it until the next week. Like, you know what I mean? Like the conversation circulates. So I'm down with that. But we also got the Echo show got announced, which is going to have Wilson Fisk in it anyway. So just us getting down to where, we're going to slowly get to Daredevil. We know Daredevil's going to show up in She-Hulk. So at some point, I'm assuming it's the next episode, with just how like advertisement is working right now.
Tune in on the debrief on Thursday.
Yeah, he's just all over the place now. So I'm assuming that's going to happen. We got Loki Season 2 coming out in the summer of 2023.
That I cannot wait. Oh,
I know. Which is going to be the first Season 2 of a Marvel show, because none of the other shows got a Season 2 yet, which not by design, because WandaVision could have totally got a Season 2.
I mean, but she got a movie.
Yeah.
She's getting the movie. So and Brie screamed for joy. She can't wait.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was part of her new contract. So then we got the Armor Wars, which will pick up right after Secret Invasion, which, from what I'm hearing, for the people who watched the Secret Invasion trailer, most of the people, the reception for that was really good. A lot of people were like, I'm here for this. This is kind of the show that they wanted. I'm not surprised by that because Secret Invasion is one of those fun stories in the comics that this is how it is. In the comic book, the execution before Secret Invasion, the main title, was fantastic. The Secret Invasion storyline itself needed to be changed. So I'm thinking that with this show, Marvel knows that. And I feel like they're going to fix the issues that comic book run had. So I'm really excited for this because I think they can do some really good things to make this work. And it's going to be great to see Samuel L. Jackson every week.
I think that's what, I think that's why a lot of people are excited for that one too, because it's, even though, I mean, I saw the beginning of the trailer, I got to watch the rest of it. You know, goes to his right hand man, and she's like, you know, I've been calling you, you let it go straight to voicemail and all this other stuff. And then you show up and you ask for my help. And he's like, oh, this is different. You get that sense of like, we have not seen you in so long. Like, what the hell? So,
which is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. Like, so it's gonna be nice, and I'm glad that he's gonna do the show. Like, he's, you know, in it.
Oh yeah. He said, according to him, that he said he is no longer even Oscar hunting. He said he'd much rather just play roles where he's Nick Fury or Mace Windu, and that's it. Like, that's what he said. So he said he's only going to do fun stuff. I mean, he's going to be in that Tales of the Jedi show.
Oh,
but
yeah.
So I don't know if we're going to get him back. Like, but still, like, if we can get him in like shows that were around that time, I think that'd be cool.
He comes back and they're like, Mace? He's like, y'all left me?
I mean, can we be surprised? I mean, freaking whatchamacallit came back. Darth Maul.
Yeah, man.
We didn't complain.
Yeah,
like, man. So yeah. So it doesn't matter. But we also saw Ironheart. We know they introduced Anthony Ramos's character, who's going to be the Hood, which should be fun. We're also going to see Ironheart in the we're going to see her in Wakanda Forever, which comes out in November, which is like right around the corner.
I'm not ready. I'm really not ready.
It's going to be emotional. I'm ready though. I'm ready. I'm not ready. I'm ready. But we also got a surprising one that I didn't know about, which was Werewolf by Night. Like,
what's that about?
So Werewolf by Night is actually the first book that Moon Knight got introduced in. Werewolf by Night 14 is the issue that Moon Knight was introduced in. So I knew that we would see the character. I didn't know we were going to get a Halloween special, because that's what this is. Right. So it's not a TV show. It comes out October 7th, and it's a Halloween special. So it should be a 1-day thing.
And it's black and white?
Yes, but I think that's going to change. But I think it's because they're going for the old werewolf storyline. You know what I mean? But there's few characters like this is the Marvel's monsters, right? Yeah. That are getting introduced, because you have Man-Thing in here too that got introduced. Elios Bloodstone, which she's a pretty big character now. But we're gonna you remember that whole Midnight Sun thing I talked about earlier? These are some of the characters that are in that thing. So introducing these characters, I think, is going to be cool, because one, we already know Moon Knight has an interaction with them based off the comic book. So I think this is just a way to set this character up somewhere. But Marvel's taken that fun approach of saying, hey, look, October is spooky time. Let's give you something a little spookier. Like, you know, I still think it's going to have its fun moments and stuff like that. But I think this is, you know, that's what this is here. Apparently, and I haven't seen anything, but I don't watch trailers anyway. But apparently, the Marvels, the whole cast was there. So, Camilla Khan, Monica Rambeau.
Shame me, because I
Carol Danvers.
still not have finished Miss Marvel.
Oh, brother.
I'm trying, if I'm going to be fair, I'm trying to save a lot of stuff for the plane. That's probably the show I'm going to watch on the plane. Because that's 9 hours. Anyway, it's a 9-hour flight. Like,
when you watch that show, you'll understand. But anyway, apparently there was a trailer that was released, but no one has a trailer, because I think this was one of those private ones. but usually they just put the trailer out, and I haven't seen
anything
trailer.
about that.
Yeah, unless people are just, not
Baiting.
showing it. Yeah,
Marvel baiting.
But no, but apparently, like the tweets of the people who were in there saw it, and people said that they were people fighting together and stuff like that. So
speaking of which, Brie Larson, I love you, okay? And I saw the annoyance. I know that you're trying to ignore the haters, and I'm sure you are. But that interview moment when they ask you if you're gonna continue to be Captain Marvel, and you were like, "Do the fans want it?" And I know the BS you got. Screw the fans, please. Like, screw those people. All right, we love you. The story was great. I love the movie. Okay, please stick around, please.
See, I mean, we'll see. I'm again. I think she was fine. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie just because it's a prequel.
Yeah, but it was just watching that interview hurt. I was just like, oh man, like
the character itself. I love the character.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we're seeing with She-Hulk. And it's like, oh, women superheroes. Yeah. Like, shut up.
There's just people who hate on stuff for no reason. But I heard that trailer was fantastic. Then we got the Thunderbolts lineup, which was revealed, which apparently that's a movie, and I thought it was a TV show.
It is? Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was a TV show also.
It's coming out July 26, 2024. And it's, a dark superhero movie. They showed some of the characters that are going to be in it, and it makes me really excited because we know Taskmaster is in it, which I thought was good because we kind of don't know much about the character.
Yeah.
And especially because the Black Widow movie didn't really dive into that.
They just fought her, and that was it.
Yeah.
I was like,
U.S. agent, and then we have Yelena, who's obviously, Florence Pugh, the love of my life. What? But she's in it. Red Guardian, which I'm really excited about, is in it. Because I love I forget his name, but Hopper is in it, and then Ghost, which I thought was interesting because we hadn't seen Ghost since Ant-Man and Wasp, and the fact that she's being introduced in this, I'm like, oh, you found a place to put these characters that you didn't kill. Because one of my biggest gripes has always been, I think Marvel kills their character. I
gotta rewatch Ant-Man and Wasp because I don't remember that movie entirely.
It's not the best movie. It also came out at an unfortunate time because it came out right after Infinity War.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That was the movie that. Yeah.
So, so it didn't help. But hearing that information was really cool. And then Zemo's also going to be a part of that team apparently, but they didn't have him in the picture. But apparently he's going to be in that movie too, which makes sense to me because, I mean, he fits the bill for that. So
also, I think it'd be funny if Marvel put Seinfeld into the Marvel universe and they had a small reunion inside the show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the girl that's playing what's her name? Ivana? Not Ivana. The girl that's getting them all the Thunderbolts.
Oh, Valentina.
Valentina is
Valentina.
Yeah, is Elaine, and I think it'd be dope if somehow they get them all in there.
Yeah. So you never know. You never know how you might get that.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. So having that announcement and knowing that was a movie was pretty amazing. Then we got Captain America news, New World Order, which the interesting news on that wasn't that the movie was coming out, but that they're getting Tim Blake Nelson to come back as the leader. And if you don't remember who that is, if you remember the Incredible Hulk, you never watched the Incredible Hulk?
That's literally the only Marvel film I've never watched. I don't know. Well, should I just watch it now at this point?
I mean, with the way that they're giving out information about how it's relevant, I think you need to watch it because there's something that happens to that character and he's going to be the leader, which is a comic book character. He has a really big head because he's super smart. But now that you saw Abomination, Emil Blonsky, who was from that movie, they drawed out him. now they're getting the leader back, played by the same guy. So they're and they acknowledged in She-Hulk, spoiler, that she knows that he tried to kill Bruce. So they're really putting this movie back into the MCU. They're not like saying it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting that he's coming back to play that role, and I think that's going to be awesome. And we also are going to get what you call it, Isaiah Bradley, who was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's going to come back for this movie also, which means he might put on the cape. I mean, put on the the superhero stuff, because that's what he did, Isaiah Bradley. So this movie is getting a little bit more exciting for me, just for the things that are going to show up in there. But if you haven't watched Incredible Hulk, go do that. They also announced WandaVision's director is going to be directing Fantastic Four. Now, there was some rumors for Fantastic Four out there that you be careful, because it's not true.
That Loki's going to be...
Well, they released a cast list that wasn't real. It looked really real because it looked like someone took a picture of it. But apparently it's not real. It says that Henry Cavill was playing Victor Von Doom.
Oh, now, I saw that. Oh, well, no. I saw that there's talks, that he's in talks about being in Loki's. No. Or no, that was, never mind. That's a whole nother show. Yeah. They're talking about House of the Dragon, I think.
Yeah.
It was
there was talks for him being into Season 2 of Loki.
Okay.
So apparently Marvel has been talking to a bunch of names. Like apparently Denzel Washington, we know about John Carlos. They're pretty much trying to re-up these people, like get people to, because obviously we know the X-Men are coming, even though, which is I'm going to get into talking about the X-Men, but that whole thing where basically there was an image of just all the people who were going to be in Fantastic Four. And they had Henry Cavill as Victor Von Doom, which I didn't know that I wanted that until now. But they had John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I forgot who was playing Sue. They had they had John Boyega playing Human Torch. And
really?
They had Seth Rogen playing Ben Grimm, the Thing. So it was like,
that's such a weird cast.
It was weird. So that's when I vetted it. I was like, no. I was like, not that I think that was a bad casting. I was just like, I don't know. This seems too fan friendly, because I'm of the one to believe that I don't know if they're going to bring John Krasinski back. I think they should, because I think he deserves to get his full movie to really show off that character. But I don't know if they were okay with the reception. And I think they wanted to keep it as a fan. They did a fan service for putting him inside of Multiverse of Madness. But I think it also helps their argument with making some of the characters have different variants, right? Because for instance, like Doctor Strange, he's the same variant. It's always Benedict Cumberbatch, right? In everything.
Yeah.
But then you have Spider-Man, who's not all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have someone like, essentially now you have Professor X, who's all going to be the same. So I think this is a good way for them to be like, some of these characters are different. Like they're going to look different, because we see it in Loki also, right? Loki had different versions of himself. Like they were all different variants of Loki. So I think that's the plan. So they might not bring John Krasinski back, but I think it might be a poor move to do that, just because you already have has an image of who he should be. So I don't know. We'll see how they do that. I am surprised though that they didn't announce the cast on this show, because I felt like this was going to be the time they announced it. This is supposed to come out next year, November 8th.
Oh,
no,
really?
I'm not next year. I'm sorry. It's supposed to come out in 2024.
Oh, okay.
So 2 years from now.
Maybe next D23.
Maybe, but I felt like this would have been a good time.
Or maybe they're saving those characters because they're going to start showing up. and other
They
stuff?
might. I think so. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I think they're going to start showing up in different places, but I did find it interesting that they didn't release the cast.
Yeah.
But
Any X-Men news?
no, which is where I was going to go to once I finish this up. But
okay.
So we also saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which is going to kick off Phase 5. That's coming out February 17th, 2023, and apparently this showed. There was an exclusive look at the movie. I won't say what it was, just in case people don't want to watch. But basically, this image did show Kang doing something in that movie, which we already knew he was going to be in it. But he's doing something that kind of forces him.
God, I can't wait to see him again.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that guy.
Yeah, he's just amazing.
He was just too good. World War Hulk incoming. I don't think they're gonna talk about that for a minute.
They haven't talked about that because, and here's the reason. I actually know the reason. So in June of 2023 is when that contract exclusive. This is why this happened in She-Hulk, if you guys are watching. But so they sent him off this way because in June, I think it's June 23rd, 2023, Universal loses the rights to Hulk. So because they lose the rights to Hulk, MCU can now make a solo movie to Hulk, because that's been the whole contract issue this whole time, is that they could use Hulk in any of their thing. They just can't make Hulk a solo
independent Hulk
movie without giving Universal money. So since Universal is not going to make a movie because they know what the backlash is going to be and all that stuff, they're going to give away their rights in June. So don't be surprised as soon as like August hits, World War Hulk gets announced. Like they're just gonna, because I am to the belief, especially after we watched She-Hulk, what picked him up in She-Hulk with the Scar ship, all that stuff, they're going to just do it there. And then I think they're already shooting that movie. They just can't talk about it. Kind of like what they did with Spider-Man, where they already had like Spider-Man thing before the deal was official.
Yeah,
that he could be put in there. They already started. So that's I think, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But and then we saw some Black Panther news, which it's coming out soon. Apparently, a lot of people got emotional. And also Ryan Coogler, fun fact, is in talks for doing Secret Wars he's in talks for being the director of that. So for him. But yeah. So now to my point of surprise. I'm a little surprised we didn't see anything X-Men related. And I don't think I know what he's doing. I feel like you have to be safe with this, and they're kind of just dumping things off. And I don't want to say too much because you haven't seen something. But once you get there, I'll let you know what the full theory is behind that, because it'll make a little bit more sense on why I didn't get it over the weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're going to take their time with that. I also think, with I think we'll get more X-Men news after Wakanda Forever also, because I do believe something's going to happen in there that's going to be interesting. And yeah, so once all that takes place, I think that's when we'll start getting our X-Men news, because it's around the time where X-Men should be starting to get news. And yeah, so. But yeah, I mean, pretty much Marvel did what they did. They just got us excited for everything that's going to come out.
I'm going to go to a D23, man. But I said the only way I'm going to go is if I get a press pass. So LPF to D23.
I mean, I think you just have to fill in the paper. Like, I don't think there's a particular requirement behind it.
I'll ask some friends. And see what happens.
I mean, I think you can look it up on the thing and look up for a press pass. It might not be free, but I think you can just look up press passes and stuff. So, but overall, that was the thing. What were you most excited about for the announcement?
Dude, it was just so much. I was excited for everything. I just wanted more Star Wars and more Marvel. I'm fine just living. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are superhero burnt out. Right, I'm not. I'll watch that for the rest of my life. I just want that. That's my world, is Star Wars and Marvel. and
people
a
say
little bit
they're
of
burnt
anime
out, but
sprinkled.
they still go watch it because again, you can say you burnt out all you want, but $900 million was made for Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can like, I don't think the burnout, and the only reason why it didn't make $1 billion because it didn't open in China. So I think what's happening is Marvel is releasing a lot of content, and I think people are getting more overwhelmed than anything else. I don't think it's a issue with. I know some people are having some issues with the way that the stories are written and stuff like that, but that's just there's more underlining reasoning for that. I don't think like I'm not here to say vouch for all of them and be like, oh, they're all amazing. Like, you know what I mean? I do think some are better than the others, but I don't think any of the shows were bad shows.
It does it does give me Destiny vibes whenever I leave Destiny for a couple months and I jump back on and I'm just like flooded with all the information. I'm like, I don't know where to start. I feel like we're at that point for newcomers, and props to the people that actually do. I've met so many people that are like, yeah, we're going through the Marvel movies right now. We're at this, and they get all the way to where we are now, and I'm like, geez, like.
Well, the key is though, I think people need to realize like you don't have to watch this at other people's paces. And I know a lot of people are like, you know, oh, I don't want to miss out. Like a lot of people just want to be a part of the conversation, right? And that's fair. That's like there's nothing wrong with that. But my thing is though, just remember that you can watch these shows whenever you want. You can totally isolate yourself from like, you know, from finding out information and stuff like that and watch it at your own speed. Like, so if even if you watch like, you know, a movie a week or something like that, you'll catch up most of the time before that next movie comes out. Because realistically, you think about it, it's what, 25 movies, like we're at what, 26, 27. So that'll be like 27 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Usually the time frame of a movie, like, you know what I'm saying, isn't going to be like, it'll be about 4 months or, you know, whatever in between time. So even if you're not close enough, you'll be close. Like, you know, so I think people need to not worry about being in the conversation and just watching it at their own pace. And then anything that you want to know or something like that, you can always go back to. Like the information ain't going nowhere. Like the information or the content isn't going anywhere. So I just think people need to not worry about missing out and just watch the show on their own terms.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was pretty much it for the Marvel news. But I mean, it was a lot of stuff, a lot of things to get excited for, a lot of Disney, and I'm just ready for all of it. I'm ready for all of it. I think this year 3 and 4 of Disney Plus is going to be like the real showing because now they kind of know what their formula is and what works, what doesn't. And plus you got season 3 of Mando. I think next year is definitely going to be a year of Star Wars as far as just when we got Andor and we got all the animated stuff coming out. So Star Wars, I think being told television wise is the best format to tell it in. So I think people are really going to enjoy these stories of Star Wars, especially if they just follow the formula. You give us new characters, sprinkle in the old ones. It works every time.
Yeah,
it's just what they need to do.
And 3 years has passed so fast because my subscription for Disney Plus is finally ending in November. And I'm upset. So I'm like, I kind of hope that at the end of it, they offer me another 3-year plan that I could just pay for. Yeah. But that's probably not going to happen, but we'll see.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Hey, baby.
Yeah, overall that was pretty much it. But anything you wanted a final thought before we close it out?
No, I just want to say this is probably, I think we beat the record for our own record for longest episode. We're at 1:40.
An hour.
40. Or hour 40. What?
we spit a lot. We talked a lot for an hour. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. Just remember we have all that content dropping on so if you guys have, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, we're there. So if you guys like it, just go ahead and take a listen to it, see what you guys think. And plus, if you guys do listen to us on Spotify, I do leave like questions on there, so you can answer them and just be like, hey, this is what I thought of the episode and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. All right. But until we will see you guys sometime this week. We'll see you guys next week for the show. So until next time, Fire Team